What's up? My name is Lamont. I am at the Forest Home Cemetery here in Chicago, Illinois. We're going to do a Faces in Death, check out some graves. Beloved brother, son, nephew, Benny Cisco Langston III, July 25th, 1978 to March 20th, 1992. I don't know how he died. You got a lot of people who died in the 90s and before, even before 2005, unless it was a publicized event where they died in an unnormal fashion, like they were murdered or something of that nature. It's not going to be online, so I don't know what happened to him. If anybody wants to drop me a link to an article about what happened to him, I would gladly put it in the description box. I think I should start doing that from now on. Javin K. Hutchins, January 25th, 1979 to May 26, 2014. Loving husband, father, and brother from your loving wife. Mr. Hutchins was shot and killed around 11 p.m. on May 26, 2014. He was taken to Loyola Mount Hospital where he was pronounced dead. Marqual Bailey, June 15th, 1997 to December 1st, 2016. Mr. Bailey was found shot in the Garfield Park neighborhood in the west side of Chicago. By the time detectives and the paramedics were on the scene, he was already pronounced dead. Detectives said it was a gang-related shooting. Brian Ramon Vega, June 7th, 1992 to November 12th, 2016. Beloved son, brother, and uncle, always in our hearts. Mr. Vega died in a car accident along with another gentleman. Detectives say that alcohol was a factor in the crash that led to the two men's deaths. Terry Johnson, loving son, brother, and father, April 17th, 1977 to May 16th, 2009, who is gone into heaven and is on the right hand of God, angels and authorities and powers being made subject unto him. Deshandra Denise Donaldson, loving daughter, mother, sister, and aunt, May 16th, 1982 to September 1st, 2010. I couldn't find the reason online how she died. Loving daughter and mother, Shakia L. Shorter, March 1st, 1993 to December 29th, 2009. Beloved son, father, brother, and grandson, Jaquez Parnell Price, October 19th, 1987 to December 26th, 2015. J-Team, forever in our hearts. Mr. Price was found shot in the chest and the abdomen in an alley in the West Garfield Park neighborhood here in Chicago. He was taken to Mount Sinai Hospital where he was pronounced dead. Officially, of course, the cause of death was ruled a homicide. Melvyn Choice Jr. III, beloved son, January 5th, 1991 to November 14th, 2008, forever in our hearts. Pedro Gonzalez III, loving son, brother, uncle, and friend, you will forever live in our hearts and minds. Keon Tyvell Boyd, October 9th, 1997 to July 26, 2016. This kid right here, he was a church-going person. He loved the Lord. He loved serving the Lord. He was a good student, and he excelled in sports, particularly basketball. And he was shot and killed on July 26, 2016. He was standing on the corner with a couple of his friends. Somebody came out of nowhere, started shooting. Keon was shot in the shoulder and taken to the hospital. His mother had gone to the scene of the shooting and was asking about her son. When she asked the detective what happened to her son, because someone had told her that he had gotten shot, the cop told her that her son had died in surgery. They nicknamed him Smiles, always smiling, this boy was. Donta J. Lee, loving son, father, brother, and grandson, September 6, 1986 to August 2nd, 2016. Take me to the King, the Lord is my shepherd. Mr. Lee was walking in the Austin neighborhood here in Chicago around 12:30 at night, and a white car pulled up to him and shot him. When the police and paramedics got to the scene, he was pronounced dead. Loving son, brother, uncle, cousin, and friend, Raheem Radio Gray, May 17th, 1982 to August 29th, 2016, forever in our hearts. Till we meet again. Mr. Gray was shot on his porch in front of his house. On the 29th of August, 2016, he was taken to Mount Sinai Hospital where he died of his wounds. Truly loved, truly missed, Lazarick D. Ratliff, March 30, 1988 to October the 2nd, 2016. Mr. Ratliff was shot in the Lawndale neighborhood here in Chicago. He was taken to Mount Sinai Hospital where he was pronounced dead. In loving memory, son, brother, uncle, and dad, Gino Martin Carrasco, G Money, March 4th, 1994 to April 23rd, 2016, always in our hearts. Mr. Carrasco was coming out of a store in the North Lawndale neighborhood in Chicago, and a car drove by and shot him in the chest. I guess some people seen him get shot and they took him to St. Anthony's Hospital, which in turn transferred him to another hospital, Mount Sinai, which seems to be the major hospital in the bad part of Chicago where everybody that gets shot gets taken to, probably a trauma hospital. That is where he lost his life. The detectives conducting the investigation on his case said that he was a documented gang member. So in all likelihood, they're going to say that this was a gang-related shooting. In loving memory, daughter, sister, mom, and aunt Yaya Claudia Elizabeth Abarca, June 19th, 1989 to March 30th, 2017. Always in our hearts. Loving mother, grandmother, and great-grandmother Margaret Ann Rule, August 28, 1949, April 30th, 2015. Truly loved and missed. Beloved son and brother Laquan J. McDonald, September 25th, 1997 to October 20th, 2014, forever in our hearts. If you guys pay attention to the news, particular police... Beloved son and brother Laquan J. McDonald, September 25th, 1997 to October 20th, 2014, forever in our hearts. If you pay attention to the news, particularly police shootings, you will probably recognize this young man's name. This is Laquan McDonald. He was shot and killed by a police officer in Chicago on the 20th of October 2014. At the time they were chasing him, there's a video of the police shooting. If you want to just go on YouTube and put in his name, there is a video. He was carrying a knife with him at the time. A bunch of police, they were basically following him in their cars. He was just kind of walking / running. They were telling him to stop, put his hands up. He wouldn't listen. He wouldn't follow police orders. And in the video, Laquan turns around at the cop, and the cop, his name escapes me right now, shot him, I believe, 15 or 16 times, just unloaded the whole clip on him. I don't know if the cop thought that maybe he had a gun. I don't know. I'm not on the cop's side, and I'm not on anybody's side in this case because it was a very difficult video to kind of judge and see who was right or who was wrong. They did an autopsy on Laquan. They found PCP in his system, which would explain his erratic behavior at the time. The cop, I'm surprised, the cop was brought up on charges of murder. I want to say he ended up getting a second-degree murder conviction. He got sentenced to 81 months in prison. This just happened recently where the cop got sentenced to prison. And I just read the story online last week. He got beat up when they took him to prison. You know, when you're a cop and you get arrested for killing somebody and they're transferring you to a prison, it's probably a good idea to put him in protective custody, but they put him in general population, and I'm assuming the inmates recognized him and just jumped on him. And I read a little bit about the past of Laquan, just about his childhood. Let me tell you something. I never make excuses for anybody. We all do what we want to do in life and on the streets, regardless of our age. You know, when we get a little bit older, we know what we're doing. But this boy never had a chance. I mean, an awful childhood, an awful upbringing. No father in the house. Mother, she wasn't there. I mean, just an awful story. Bad child. You know, just a perfect example of a kid who was born without a chance to succeed in life. I mean, growing up in a bad neighborhood also is not going to help any matters. Not having a sound family structure is not going to help anything. And this kid never had a chance. Just wasn't afforded one. Nothing. And here he lies. Okay, that concludes another edition of Faces in Death. A lot of graves. There's got to be another 50 graves with faces of young black kids here in Chicago. It's pretty sad to say the least. Anyways, I'll catch up with you later. Maybe I'll come back here before I leave town. Live, but not live, but still alive by the grace of God. I am at the Forest Home Cemetery here in Chicago, Illinois. Thank you for watching. Peace out.